That's why. We start again. How's that? Test 1, 2. If people haven't seen any sound, people may you guys just want to let people know that we have the sound on now? Sound should be coming on now? Yes? No?
I still don't hear you. I see you, but I don't
hear
you.
Yeah, it should be coming. Just give it a second. Yes? You got sound? Okay, good. We have sound. All right, thank you, everyone. We should have sound right now. Sorry about that. Anyway, let me start again. This is Dr.SHIVA Ayadure.
I still can't. Oh,
okay.
There you are.
Yep. All right, Jake. Everyone can hear what you're saying, so just hold on one sec. Okay. So, everyone, this is Dr. Shiva here. We have Jake Crosby with us today. Remember, I promised you an amazing investigative journalist, a Master's of Public Health scholar, who's done incredible work in the entire area of autism. He's really, I would say, is one of the most best domain experts in the entire vaccine movement. And Jake is going to he just released a breaking story exposing what is really going on with the Kennedys and the smear campaign that they're running. So everyone listening, right now tell all your friends to join, because we're going to expose what the Kennedy not so obvious establishment is really about and why they would dare do essentially Hitler's technique of the big lie, saying that I'm a vaccine manufacturer, which is absurd. And then they have a butt-ass guy, going around trying to say I'm mentally ill. Okay, by the way, the Kennedys caused a lot of their spouses to go mentally ill. And you can read about that. It's quite well written about. A guy like Bobby Kennedy had 44 affairs while he was married. Okay, so we can talk about them, but this is their standard operating procedure, to murder someone through their character. Okay? In the old days, they just shoot people. Now they try to assassinate people. So everyone listening, tell everyone that we have an amazing discussion today about really discussing the true nature of the vaccine movement, how it was derailed by Bobby Kennedy. And the person who really supports him, Jake's going to give some history about a guy called Mark Blaxall. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So this is a very, very important discussion. But larger, Massachusetts is the center of the deep state aristocracy of the Kennedys. They believe that this is their ownership, that they own Massachusetts. And they dare not have a dark-skinned Indian guy who came as an untouchable from India, who actually worked for a living, take that Senate seat. And so they have to smear me, especially when I started exposing the complete hypocrisy of Bobby Kennedy, who is pro-vaccine, wants to expand the vaccine program, wants to have more government, supported Hillary Clinton, who is pro-Monsanto, pro-Big Pharma, and essentially pro-global elite. In fact, Bobby Kennedy got so afraid after I exposed him, he had to run over to Oprah. That's what he did. He had to run over to Oprah to create a new campaign for unity, unite. And what's been going on is people have been attacking me, his minions, not everyone, the smart people get it. They've been attacking me, saying I want to divide. Yes, I do want to divide truth from lies. This is not about unity, fake unity. We want to divide. All those people want to follow Bobby Kennedy. Still, after when we finish this, you should go do that to the slaughterhouse of Bobby Kennedy. Is going to lead essentially the American people, because the Kennedys do not give a damn about you. They care about themselves, their power, profit, and control. I'm getting feedback here. Someone's is playing me back. Is not on mute. Can someone turn me off, please? Joe? Thanks. So, someone is on mute here. Is not on mute. Okay, I'm going to mute. Susan Grady's phone is not on mute. Okay. All right, thank you. So, that's what we're going to talk about. So, Jake, I'm going to bring up your article, okay?
Thank you, Shiva.
Okay, so we have, Jake, why don't you just tell people your background? So we have Jake Crosby here. Jake, why don't you tell people your background as I'm going to bring this up?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Shiva, and for getting involved in this and for really making this issue a cornerstone of your Senate campaign, your 2020 Senate campaign, and just for everything that you've done. It's been amazing. I mean, I've been involved in this for 12 years. I started contributing to ageofautism.com in 2008. And the reason why I start my own site now, which I've started since 2013, my site that I run now is autisminvestigated.com. And the reason I started this site is because I could no longer contribute to ageofautism.com, because I realized that people who were involved with that site were thwarting advocacy efforts. And I didn't come to that conclusion easily. I didn't want to come to that conclusion, but that's what has happened. And certainly Mark Blaxell, the fellow that you named, is very much at the center of it, unfortunately, and he's certainly played a big role in causing efforts, particularly congressional advocacy efforts concerning vaccine injury, to be thwarted. And he's obviously a major person that Bobby Kennedy listens to, which is very unfortunate.
So Jake, what I want to do is just step back. You have a master's in public health, right?
That's correct.
And,
yeah, I have a.
And
right,
tell people what your bachelor's degree was and your master's.
Epidemiology, and I also have an undergraduate major from Brandeis University, what's called Health Science Society and Policy. It's kind of like a public health major at Brandeis, near Boston, near your neck of the woods. So, and I got involved in public health issues through vaccine injury issues. And in fact, one of the major motivating factors for me was, in fact, back in 2008 when Bobby Kennedy, when I saw his speech, he gave this speech in front of the Capitol and about what the CDC has done and its role in misinforming the public about vaccine risks. And so it is really, really disheartening and I've realized this over the years, seeing Kennedy kind of fold and compromise, and it is really, really, it's really just unfortunate and disappointing, and it's so great to have someone like you now involved who isn't afraid to tell the truth as it needs to be told and doesn't hold his tongue, and we really need more people like you, and we're so fortunate to have someone like you.
Can everyone hear Jake okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jake, we have you. Jake is on phone here, and we're pointing him to our mic. So Jake, I just want to let people know before we go that.
She's saying it's muffled still.
Okay. Who's saying that?
Marie,
can you hear him better now? Jake, say something.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Is that better, Marie? Okay.
Actually, it's people that are like on YouTube and stuff that are saying he's hard to hear.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if you put your mic.
I have an idea.
Can you hear me now? I'm talking more
I have an
directly into
idea,
the phone.
Jake. Can someone send Jake the phone number to Zoom? Jake, you're going to call into a Zoom number, okay?
Okay, great. Yeah.
Can you give it to me right now, Karina? What the number is? Hold on 1 second, everyone. We're just 1 second. We're gonna come. Sorry about that, everyone. We're going to have Jake Crosby joining us. But as Jake is coming in, because we want to get better sound, what we want to share is that everyone should know I'm running for United States Senate. As Jake said, that I am not here to lose. I'm not here to be a politician. I'm here to win. And winning means you have to go with ferocity against evil. We're not going to screw around and be nice to people who are actually oppressors, like the Kennedys. The Kennedys have gotten away with murder, literally. But I mean murder also figuratively. They've gotten away with it because everyone thinks that Hollywood and this brainwashing that has taken place in this country, that people give them a free pass on everything. You or I if we did what happened to Ted Kennedy, we'd be in jail forever. If we did anything that those guys did, we would never have a free pass. But they get a free pass because, as I said in the title of this, they believe we live in an aristocracy. Think about it. Edward M. Kennedy III is like some king or something. JFK, I mean, they have these titles, don't they? Yeah. We, by the way, come on over here, guys. As we start, what I want to share with people here is we have Karina. Say hello. You can say hello, Karina.
Hey.
So Karina is, again, everyone on our team. These are people from Massachusetts. Karina's joining us from Newton. And who else do we have? We have Marie here. Marie, you guys want to say hello? Marie, you want to unmute and say hello? Marie? Hey, Marie. Marie, you want to say hello?
Okay, hi there.
Hi.
I'm Marie. I live in Wareham in Buzzards Bay area.
Great.
And been working with Shiva since his last campaign.
Great. So that's Marie. Let's go back to Karina. Karina, no one got to see you, so say that again.
Hi, Shiva.
Okay. Hey, Karina.
I'm from Newton.
Okay.
I'm volunteering for the first time in my life for any political campaign. It happens to be you because I just couldn't not do it.
Great to have you, Karina. And then over here we have Debbie Pepe. Debbie works as an amazing hairdresser. Debbie, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Massachusetts. Everybody vote for Shiva.
Excellent. And then who do we have here? We have Richard. Why don't you go right there so I can point the camera right? We have Richard DeLuca, who's right here. Let me show you to Richard. Richard is right here at my home. Richard, you can stay right there. Say hello to everyone, Richard.
Hi, everyone. I'm Richard.
Richard, what do you do for a living?
Well,
What did you?
I'm a retired electrician, 77 years old. And I met Shiva about 4 years ago, and he's a breath of fresh air. And I'm dedicated my services to him because I believe in him, what he stands for. And I'm really honored to be part of his team.
Great to have you, Richard. Do we have Jake? Have you joined?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great.
Hi.
Much better. Everyone should be. Is that better for everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Much better.
So we have Jake Crosby's back. So we'll come back to our amazing volunteers who are right here with us. Thanks, Richard, and we'll introduce some more people. But so Jake is back, and when Jake and I connected, it was very fortunate that Jake and I connected because I have been, as many of you know, involved in the as a scientist and as a inventor and an innovator in health since I was a 4-year-old kid and as a 14-year-old full-time research fellow. So I'm not a lawyer lobbyist who, was a heroin addict and then got involved in doing some nice stuff because I had to, reclaim my brand. I've been involved in health for a long, long, long time. And so when I saw this vaccine movement taking place, I brought in a lot of science. Jake, wouldn't you say that in the last 6 months, the people in this movement, frankly, have done very little on the science side? Jake, are you there?
Yeah, well, we definitely, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, no, it's really, you definitely bring, some really valuable experience to our team that really, that we're lacking, frankly, because so many people are parents or affected individuals, and it's definitely, you bring an invaluable contribution to this movement, Shiva.
Yeah,
so
and
thank you.
Thanks, Jake. And so one of the things that happened was I have always been an activist. So some of you may know, all my life. I mean, you'll find a picture of me burning the South African flag on the steps of MIT. I organized food service workers. I was the first guy to protest against the war in Iraq during my graduation. So I've always built in bottoms-up movement. And I shared with Jake when I saw this movement, the Kennedy clan had failed in New York. They'd failed in California because it's all top-down movement, in back rooms negotiating with Democrats typically. And they all believe in the legislative process, which frankly, as we know, is controlled by Big Pharma and is corrupt. And when I got involved, I said, look, we need to build a bottoms-up militant movement, and people listen in New Jersey. And that's why we won, because of my leadership. And I take full credit for it, and I have to, because you have people trying to heist credit, so I have to be not as humble anymore. And so because of that leadership, a lot of the people who came out, the mothers of families took to the streets. They were so overjoyed to see a real leader, not like these, frankly, bogus leaders like Dull Bugtree or Bobby Kennedy. It was a breath of fresh air. And by the way, I was from New Jersey, working class kid. And what ended up happening was we scared the hell out of the legislators because we weren't there negotiating with them, trying to strike a deal. And we won. They stopped, they didn't even bring up the bill for vote. And that was the first major victory that ever took place. And that was because of my leadership in saying we need to go on the ground. In opposition to that, the Kennedy clan, in fact, when we were down there, they didn't really want to hang out with us. Richard, are you here?
Yeah.
Come on over, Richard. So Richard will tell you, Richard and I drove down in my SUV 6 hours overnight to get there. They came in a big entourage, right? They came and this is at a time when I had started exposing Bobby Kennedy's nonsense. And when I was coming out of the coffee place, right?
Yeah, across from the stadium.
Yeah, come on over, Richard. No one can see you, okay? When I was coming out, I went and gave him the olive branch. I put my arm around him, and everyone caught a picture of that. But then people said, okay, take a picture with Bobby. And he said, what did he say, Richard?
I don't shake hands. I don't do that.
Right. So they took the picture of my olive branch, and they said, oh, look, he's a liar. Well, he's a liar. Bobby Kennedy and his whole family is a bunch of liars. We're going to talk about that. So after that, what we realized was that, and I spoke to Jake, and Jake gave me the entire history. And I think I want Jake to share that. Jake, why don't we talk about from 1962 to 86 and what Bobby Kennedy really wants and why he's really pro-vaccine and pro-more government involvement. Jake?
Yeah, well, I mean, the vaccine program, the federal vaccine program existed or came into existence in 1962 with this law that was ratified by President Kennedy called the Vaccination Assistance Act, and that's what created the immunization branch of the CDC. And it's gone over a couple name changes over the years, but that is quintessentially the beginning of the federal vaccine program. And what that did was ramp up the vaccination rates. It led to all 50 states then adopting mandatory vaccine policies where kids have to go to get their vaccines on time in order to go to school. And eventually that caused, obviously, with greater rates of vaccination, that's caused a greater rate of vaccine injuries. And specifically from the DTP shot, the diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis vaccine, it's been replaced with a different formulation called DTaP. But at any rate, that's, it led to the creation in 1986 of the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. And it was signed into law by President Reagan. He didn't want to sign the law. He criticized the law, but he was heavily coerced into signing it anyway. And one of the co-sponsors of that law, Senate co-sponsor, was Ted Kennedy. And so that caused vaccine companies to become indemnified from litigation, and that's what's gotten us into the mess that we're in now, where you've got this rapidly expanding vaccine schedule because they have no accountability. They're not liable for any injuries that are incurred. The government shields them from that. So
Jake,
Kennedy's family has a big role to play in there.
So Jake, just to summarize for people, so if people really want to understand this, and Jake really, I just want to repeat what you said, Jake, because but the big bullet points were in 1962, the National Vaccination Act was put into place by John Kennedy. And as I've shared that act, when I look back at the science, that was put in at a time when the science of the immune system was very, very new. No one really understood what we know today. In fact, it's still very new. And so based on that, it was what I call the two-box model of the immune system. You have the innate immune system and the adaptive. The innate, we've talked about before, is all that part of your immune system, which really doesn't have anything to do with the microbiome or your gut flora. It was just basically the stuff that comes in through your eyes, your nose, your mucus, and all the immune parts there. And then the understanding was there was the adaptive immune system, which is what creates specific antibodies. So one was like the Marines, the other was like the sharpshooters. But anyway, Kennedy signed into the National Vaccination Act based on that very early understanding. And that led, Jake, I think you said, to the CDC, the formation of the Communicable Disease Center, right?
No. The center already existed, but it created the immunization branch within
immunization
the center.
branch,
so it
right?
Created the federal vaccine program and mandated that it be run by the CDC, which I believe at that time it was the Communicable Disease Center, and then I think then in the 60s, I believe it underwent the name change of the Center for Disease Control.
Right. But the immunization sort of group within the CDC started, and then I think the other highlight was from 1962, which was that program was put into place by John Kennedy, and then by 1986 there were all these injuries coming as a result of this government program, which is what it was, the government telling us what we should do. And that's the most important things people should remember. That's when the government got involved in 62. And then from there on, injuries are taking place because you had a one-size-fit-all model, which I've talked about. It wasn't a personalized approach to medicine. And you could probably argue they didn't know what that was at that time. But by 1986, the other point you made, Jake, was that's when they basically put the National Vaccine Injury Program, because there was lots of lawsuits taking place, and to protect the vaccine manufacturers, they put this law into place, or injury program. I guess it's a sort of a nice way of saying protect the pharma companies, but they called it an injury program. Right? Makes it sound like those for us. Yeah.
Right.
But then, as a result of that, more government got involved. Right. So now the government was adjudicating claims, which they shouldn't be doing, or Health and Human Services was under the executive branch. And so you have that taking place.
Absolutely.
And then as a result of that, then some of the states started giving exemptions, as I understand, which was another set of Band-Aids. And by the time Robbie Kennedy got involved, Jake, what did he actually do? What did Robbie Kennedy actually do? And what is his position?
Well, I mean, he got involved as we know, he's an environmental lawyer, and so he got involved specifically. He was suing coal-burning power plants. As you may know, coal emits mercury into the environment, and of course he got involved based on unsafe levels of mercury that are in vaccines. And certainly there are unsafe levels of mercury in vaccines. There's still unsafe levels in flu shots. But I think that when he got involved, he really wanted to set his focus more on that problem, just on the mercury itself, and not on the broader issues with vaccines or how vaccines are regulated or mandated that enabled disasters like allowing mercury to get into the vaccines in the first place. And I think that he really doesn't like to criticize the vaccine program as a whole. And oftentimes when you see him talking, he'll kind of zero in on some very specific point about how vaccines aren't placebo controlled. They're not subjected to adequate safety standards. But the truth is that safety has to be an ongoing process, even after they're approved by the FDA, because everybody gets them. I mean, a trial contains, a clinical trial, several thousand people might be enrolled, and that's a fairly large amount, relatively speaking, but it's not the entire country, because the entire country is who ends up getting vaccines. And so it's very, very important to make sure to be able to detect safety issues with vaccines after they're approved, because a lot of times they just simply won't show up in a trial of a couple thousand or so people. And the problem is that the same government that's charged with oversight of vaccine safety, is also recommending them to people. And really, it should really be left to doctors. It shouldn't be, a government agency should not be pushing routine vaccination onto the entire population. There are too many conflicting roles there. The government's role with vaccines should be on safety, not on recommending them routinely for everyone.
Yeah, and Jake, I think one of the most important things here is when you and I were discussing this, what we realized was, I think that where Jake and I concurred on was that when I looked at this, you had people, when I got involved in this, I've been involved in health, that I said, for a long time, but when I got into this, I was a new kid on the block, and you had all these people who've been involved in this movement 15 years, frankly, making money off of this movement. And when I got involved, I said, this doesn't make any sense. Why are we fighting for crumbs, right? Why are these people trying to fight for religious exemption? The whole thing from 1962 should go away. And that's when I realized that, wait a minute, this guy Bobby Kennedy is trying to preserve his uncle's legacy, Ted Kennedy, who was trying to preserve his brother's legacy, John Kennedy. So you have Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy. Just think about that. Kennedy put in the Vaccination Act, another Kennedy put in the National Vaccine Program, and another Kennedy's acting like he's going to be fighting for us. Okay? But when you realize what Kennedy actually wants, I'm going to go right now and play the actual, if people go to rfkexposed.com, everyone, you may want to tweet that out, rfkexposed.com. And I built this site. Look, I've been bringing this stuff up. I don't care whether he's a Kennedy. If you guys want to bow down, he's a Kennedy, go do that. But I'm an untouchable from India. We don't care about that. I came to America because we're not supposed to have an aristocracy. So when we started exposing him, Kennedy just attacked me, and Jake and I are going to go over that because I'm running against his nephew here in Massachusetts. But I think Jake sent me this video. I can play the long version. Jake, should I play the whole version for people? Let me play the short version. And this is actually Robert Kennedy's.
The short version.
Here's Robert.
Minister Farrakhan has asked me to address the issue of vaccines and African American and vaccine safety. I want to start out by saying this, and I want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. I have always been fiercely pro-vaccine. I had all 6 of my children vaccinated, and I believe that we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans. Safety.
Let me repeat this again, because when we played this, Jake, people started attacking me. Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is the beginning. People just don't want to believe. And in fact, they say, well, you should listen to the whole video. People should go listen. Because at the end, he repeats it again. So it's about time people get their head out of somewhere. Because if you want to follow the Kennedys, because you just think they're the Kennedys, something's wrong in this country. This is not, we don't bow down to kings anymore.
Nope.
So that's not what we're supposed to do. And that's what our campaign is about. So let me play this again. So there's no thing. So
I want to start out by saying this, and I want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. I have always been fiercely pro-vaccine. I had all 6 of my children vaccinated, and I believe that we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans.
Okay, so there's nothing here to argue. Okay?
Ask me to address.
And Jake, I think when you actually go listen to the whole thing, which is, by the way, Jake did an amazing piece. If people go to this site that we've created, RFK Exposed, the first fact we have right there is, in his own words, I want to say it emphatically, I am pro-vaccine. I've been fiercely pro-vaccine. I believe that we have to have policy that encourage full vaccinations for all Americans. This is a guy leading, supposedly, the medical freedom anti-vax movement. And then, if you go below, we have the video again, and then it has Jake's wonderful article here that he wrote a year ago. And Jake went and did this on his own because the so-called autism movement is infiltrated by a guy called Mark Blaxell, okay? And so if you read this is the entire thing. And it says, Robert F. Kennedy wants to preserve Uncle JFK's vaccine program. That's what the foundation is. He wants to, in fact, expand government. He wants to have a vaccine safety, some nonsense, Jake, you want to talk about, but it's not getting government out, it's actually getting government more in. So his uncle got government in, JFK got him in, and Edward Kennedy got him more in by creating the vaccine courts, and this guy wants to get him more in when the whole thing should go away. And if people go to Shiva for Senate, I want to just take a quick commercial break, Jake, for 1 minute, because I got to push the fact that I'm running for U.S. Senate, because we got to get people to support our campaign. But if everyone goes to Shiva for Senate, you will realize, first of all, I'm running for U.S. Senate. And the guy I'm running against is Joe Kennedy, who's a nephew of Robbie Kennedy. I'm running against what unfortunately has become my enemy now, when I realized all this, his nephew. And that's why he ran the smear campaign, which we're going to get to. But if you go to ShivaForSenate.com, all the people in my home today, all the people, I'm going to go switch over here to all the camera over here. We have incredible volunteers. This campaign is not made of a bunch of, I saw Joe Kennedy walking around. He had an entourage of like 20 people. He had a black car.
SUVs.
Huh? Three SUVs. He doesn't even drive his own car. Okay? I came in my own car, drove there and left. That's what these guys are. They don't even drive their own cars. You know why? Because they think they're better than you and me. They think they're the aristocracy, and they think this Senate seat is theirs. That's what they think it is. But anyway, if you go to ShivaForSenate.com, everyone should go there and support our campaign. But this is not a campaign, give me money, give me money, give me money. If you go to our campaign, first of all, it's based on truth, freedom, and health. Truth, freedom, and health, which means without freedom, we can't have truth. Can't do science. Without science and truth, you can't solve real problems to get to health. And without health, we're never going to have the strength to fight for freedom. What they want to do is they want us to have no discussion. They want to use big lies to attack people. And that's what the Kennedys are just doing right now to me, a smear campaign, so that we don't get to the truth. The truth is that they are actually the not so obvious liberal aristocracy who is pro-vaccine and wants to mandate it. And they are the ones who don't want us to have health, while they live in Malibu, they live in Hyannisport, and I don't see all of us being invited to their home, okay? But if you go to our campaign and you click on donate, I don't just want your money. When you support our campaign, I actually want to educate you. We have an amazing book that I wrote, this wasn't done by others, called System and Revolution, which teaches you how systems operate. And there's another amazing tool called Your Body, Your System. And this came out of my own research work. Again, you know, I didn't pay consultants to do my research. I don't have mama and papa sending me to Brown and Nichols schools, which is what Joe Kennedy went to, $60, $70, $80, $100,000, and then got a free ride into law school. But this is a tool I created for you, where you can answer a set of questions and let you figure out what kind of body you are, your system. Then you answer a different set of questions. It figures out how you're deviated from that system. And so here's those questions, and it's called Your Body, Your System. Those of you who are outside of the United States, you can go directly to yourbodyyoursystem.com and get it for you directly. And then you can also figure out how to manipulate foods and supplements and things to get you back to your system state. But anyway, the bottom line is I'm running for U.S. Senate, and people like me are not supposed to run. It's only supposed to be for people with a 111 or junior next to their name, okay? So, but everyone should support our campaign, because this campaign is for you. It's one of you running. It's about truth, freedom, and health. And when Jake and I met, he and I put together, as Jake illuminated me on this, and obviously, you know, when I win the U.S. Senate seat, Jake is going to be my advisor in the health area. He's more than amply qualified. But if we go here, I don't know if you know that, Jake. I've thought about that. But congratulations.
Thank you, Shiva. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comment for that.
But what I'm sharing with people, Jake, right now, if you is that we have a Health Rights Act. This is a real substantive act. So all of you people out there, you should wonder why this foolish fellow, Robbie Kennedy, didn't even think about this. You know why? Because he wants to maintain it. My bill proposes the 1962 Vaccination Act was based on an old science of the immune system. The 1986 National Vaccination Injury Program was a Band-Aid solution brought to you by Ted Kennedy. And I have a lot of respect for John Kennedy. You know, he was executed by the deep state. And he did this, I think, with good will, but I don't think he understood the science behind it. But Ted Kennedy, who was a complete whatever, he's the one who implemented the National Vaccine Injury Program. But if you read this, what I say is the current vax and anti-vax movements operate on the premise to varying degrees that the state has a right to be involved in personal decisions. Most of the anti-vax movement is not saying we should repeal the whole thing. They're like, well, let's talk to our legislators to get some crumbs of medical exemptions. Right, Jake? They're not trying to take down the whole thing.
Yeah.
They want to just crumbs. And they have the Kennedys fighting for crumbs. And what this says is for nearly 2 decades, anti-vax misleaders, Robbie Kennedy, have corralled families and activists seeking health and well-being to the singular activity of negotiating with legislators on the extent to which the state will be involved in the immune health of the individual. And I talk about modern science, and what we say is that the entire thing should just go away, okay? That's my position.
Yeah.
That we should go back to 62 and take this whole idiotic thing down. It does not belong here. And that's the difference between me and the Kennedys. Robbie Kennedy is pro-vaccine, wants to twiddle the system. His nephew wants pro-vaccine mandates. They're the same people. By the way, they act like, oh, we attack Bobby, we don't like him. They're one. They're the same thing. So Jake, I'm going to go to so since I started very vigorously, I think Jake was the first one for many years. Jake's been involved in the movement longer than he was attacking Kennedy. And Jake, I think you were thrown off the previous. Jake, you want to tell what happened with Mark Blaxell? How you exposed him and how Robbie Kennedy reacted?
No, how I found out about Kennedy, was much later, but he wasn't involved in this. But I was removed from Age of Autism, and there's a lot to get into here, but I was removed from my previous platform, ageofautism.com, in 2013. I've been involved since 2008. I've been involved for a very, very long time, and I've seen over the years exactly the kind of thing that you were talking about, of this sort of this compromise that's overtaken the vaccine injury movement. And I saw what happened specifically with this hearing in 2012, about how it was supposed to focus on the CDC's cover-up of vaccine injury, and specifically the thimerosal autism connection and other things that were happening in CDC. And instead it was totally gutted by this group that Mark was part of, called Safe Minds, and was a sponsor of Age of Autism. And he had essentially thwarted the hearing. That group thwarted the hearing by hiring a lobbyist who she said she represented, a parent advocate named Brian Hooker. He's got a PhD in biochemical engineering, really strong guy. And they shut him out. They shut out of his testimony. They got his testimony to be. They prevented him from being invited to give testimony, and they changed the topic of the hearing to the so-called federal response to autism, and they really watered it down. And so when I wrote about that, I was removed from my original platform, Age of Autism, and I found autisminvestigated.com.
Jake, 1 second. Jake, just one sec. I think you hit people with a ton of information there, but just to...
right.
So I know it's very complicated, but...
There's a lot to go into it here.
Yeah, 1 second, Jake. So what I want to share, just want to summarize the key points, because you're so deep into it. The key point here was Dr. Brian Hooker, right? Brian Hooker was the one who was exposing... Brian Hooker, and people can look this up, was exposing the malfeasance of the CDC. Who is it?
Right.
William what's his name? William Thompson, was it?
Well, there were a bunch of things too, and William Thompson was someone who had contacted him later, but what he was going to get involved with at that hearing was specifically focused on documents that he had obtained from CDC via the Freedom of Information Act, relevant to early studies from CDC that showed a link between thimerosal and autism. And because of Safe Minds, the activities of this group, he was prevented from being able to do that. And when I wrote about that, I was no longer able to continue for this site called thebolandreport.com, which is maintained by Tim Boland, who's a great advocate. I was removed from my regular platform of Age of Autism, and I founded my own site, autisminvestigated.com. And I wasn't totally aware. I was still on friendly terms with Bobby Kennedy at that point. I wasn't aware of the extent of his compromising until shortly after I founded the website.
So Jake, again, to let people know, Brian Hooker was going to present some important data at a hearing to a House subcommittee, right? Darrell Issa subcommittee.
Full committee. It was a full committee.
A full committee. I'm sorry, full committee. So a scientist was going to present data. A guy called, simply put, Mark Blaxell, sabotaged that meeting, and Hooker was never able to present. Basically tanked a very important meeting that would have affected policy, or at least brought to public the thimerosal link. Just to keep it simple, truly brought it. And when Jake wrote about this, he was canned from Age of Autism.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then you told Bobby Kennedy about it, right?
Hearing, yeah.
So Jake, I think the key point is you wrote to Kennedy about what occurred, right? And we're going to bring it up, but maybe you can just summarize in a couple sentences what happened when you wrote to Kennedy.
Well, I mean, Kennedy, he definitely is, certainly he's aware of what I've done, and it's interesting is that around the same time of me founding the autisminvestigated.com site, right around that same time was Kennedy had written a book called Thimerosal, Let the Science Speak. You can purchase it off Amazon right now. And so he could have actually published that book right then and there. Instead, what he did was he waited an entire year for HHS to remove thimerosal from vaccines. He purposefully withheld publication of that book on condition that they remove thimerosal from all vaccines, including flu shots, everything, which of course they did not do. And so then 1 year after that, he publishes his book, but he publishes the version only half the number of pages that were originally in the book. The other half, which was the section on autism, specifically the thimerosal autism link. The whole book was about the toxicity of the mercury-based preservative thimerosal, but he specifically removed half the book dealing with autism. And so by that point, I'd already founded autisminvestigated.com, and so, which enabled me to post what I wanted on that site. And so I posted the full manuscript of his book, the full
without his consent.
manuscript
You
of
did it
his
but without his consent, right? Just to be clear.
Without his consent, right?
Right.
No, yeah, exactly. I had obtained the full manuscript of his book. I posted it online, and then 1 year after that, in 2015, he finally published the complete book in full. And when he did that, I took down the manuscript, now that it was, publicly available for purchase on Amazon. And you can still purchase it right now, the paperback version, which even says on the cover of the book, he even says includes the omitted autism chapters. So he admits right there that he had censored those chapters from his book, which was ironically called Thimerosal, Let the Science Speak. And yet 1 year before he released that edition, he would not let the science of thimerosal speak regarding its causation of autism.
Yeah.
Which
so
is totally hypocritical.
Yeah, so when to people listening, when Jake actually shared this with me, that's when my ground intuition started matching with the framework that Jake had essentially gotten and been hit hard for bringing out this truth as a Master's of Public Health student. He's an epidemiologist. Jake knows what he's talking about.
Right.
So that's when I went, I don't, Jake, people who know me, I think life is short. So I went after Kennedy very hard. I exposed him, and I said, this guy's not a warrior. He's a fake fighter. He's a Kennedy who's just sitting on a freaking movement. I went after him really hard before the New Jersey event, right? And that's why in New Jersey there was all this tension. But by that time, I think it's starting in September, October, I had built a huge following of people. People said, wow, this guy's a real fighter in the anti-vax movement. And then they begrudgingly invited me to VI, which was this vaccine event, because people are like, why isn't Shiva coming? So I went there, gave a speech, and all of them weren't even looking at me, Jake. If you remember, they didn't want to even touch me. Because and when I gave the speech,
talked to me about that, yeah.
Yeah, when I gave the speech, it got the most applause. And then afterwards, there was an event, a party, and people were getting plastered at this party. I mean, an open bar. Richard,
Fall down drunk.
yeah, come on over here. It was fall down drunk people, literally. And at the end of that event, Bobby Kennedy gets up and he goes, we don't have enough money. We need another 25 grand. Well, they just lost 25 grand in that open bar.
4 hours.
4-hour open bar. Okay? So it was disgusting, frankly. And then they're asking poor working people to give them money. So I started blasting them because I connected the dots, and I saw, and as I looked at what Jake's work, it was clear he was for essentially bigger government, more involvement, and he frankly wasn't even against. And my position was, I'm not pro or anti-vax. I believe this should be decentralized to the doctor-patient relation. We should remove all of this. I'm into decentralized healthcare. So that's what if people go again to the Shiva for Senate, which everyone should be supporting our campaign. By the way, we have a bunch of our volunteers who are joining us. We're going to be doing a marathon. We have volunteers at my home here. This is a real campaign. It's not a bogus Kennedy campaign. Okay, we have a real campaign going on. But in our entire campaign, we decided that truth, freedom, and health were important, and we call for decentralizing this whole thing. And in response to our campaign, you have Robbie Kennedy running here, and we've done internal polls which show that we're going to beat him by 10 points because we have so many Democrats, independents coming our way, Jake. I don't know if I've told you that. Because of the ferocity in which I've been pursuing this, people want a real fighter. So in response to that, what did Robbie Kennedy do? Maybe you want to let people know from what he recently did. He basically, maybe you want to summarize, this is the old Hitler technique of tell the biggest lie. Tell the biggest lie. Because, by the way, over the last 2 months, I've been doing incredible videos, not to really, as a coronavirus took place, I was the first guy out there hammering Fauci. I was the one, because I had the credibility as an MIT PhD in biological engineering and as an expert on the immune system. No one else was saying anything until I went after Fauci, and I started the Fire Fauci campaign. And I said, we need to get rid of the guy. I'm the guy who wrote a letter to the president and said that there's no reason to shut down this economy. We should essentially take the really healthy people, give them some vitamin A and D, put them back to work. I said the other people who are sick, let's give them high dose A and D. And in fact, you know, with the law, and all of this is written, I'm the one who said we need to do vitamin C. Kennedy never said any of this. None of these guys said any of it. None of these people, butt-ass, whoever his name is, didn't say any of this. None of them. We did. I did. And those videos went viral. Now, this clearly got the quote-unquote the health movement or the anti-whatever, the Kennedy people very, very upset because a new kid was on the block and I was becoming very, very popular and serving the movement. And in response to that, and because I was exposing him, what Bobby Kennedy did, and everyone should realize, is he did the most egregious thing. I think there's a really good, I'm going to bring up this Twitter. I just reposted this wonderful, wonderful Twitter. I'm going to, Twitter graphic. I don't know, Jake, if you're home, you can see everything I'm doing. I'm putting it out there. But
okay.
I on YouTube, Facebook, there's a very interesting Twitter graphic that a very good artist did. And, you know, he was really watching all this and he captured this in a very cool way. Let me bring it up right here. And you can see this graphic. If you guys want to come see it, it's right here. And the graphic really it says it all. It's a graphic of, right here, it's got a picture of Bobby Kennedy with a K, like the, you know, similar to the, you know, swastika. And it says, make the lie big, make the lie simple, and keep saying it. That's what we have right here. Let me bring it up right here. So that's what it says, okay? If people can see it here, and John Allen wrote, deep state scumbag Robert Kennedy got caught red-handed, RFK exposed. He's a fake fighter, not sure what's more absurd, the lies Dr.SHIVA, and these were the lies he put out, that I'm a vaccine maker. And
that's
now,
news to me.
yeah, it's amazing. I'm a vaccine maker. In partnership, right. And I'm in partnership with Bill Gates. I'm the one who's been exposing Gates. This guy was sitting on his butt. And I get money from Hillary. He's the one who endorsed Hillary 3 times. So John says, is this absurd, or the sheep that follow him? So then you have Butt-Ass, this guy he found out of nowhere, a disgusting looking fellow. He is. He's pretty disgusting looking. And he's got him saying I'm mentally ill. That's what he said. Okay? They have a head injury. He looks like something's happened to him multiple times. Okay? So whatever. This fellow is Bobby's butt-ass. Okay? Whatever. Butt-ar. Okay? That's what we got. Okay? So this is what the Kennedys do. They go try to murder people's reputation. Make the lie big, make the lie simple, keep saying it. And you have a bunch of Bobby Kennedy butt-asses out there who are saying this right now. They're saying that I'm a vaccine maker. And we're going to talk about what I do. My technology, Cytosolve, makes mathematical models. We make mathematical models. We don't make vaccines. Okay, number one. I, as a software inventor, we buy Microsoft Office server software and we get discounts. We get discounts. Yeah, it's coming through. Yeah, because we get discounts on software. Okay, that doesn't make me a partner with Bill Gates, but this fool doesn't know that, or he does know it quite well. And I haven't gotten one penny from the Clintons. I've asked my auditors to look. 24 hours ago, I gave Bobby Kennedy a challenge to show me this, and he hasn't. All we heard was crickets. Richard, did you hear anything from Bobby Kennedy?
Nope.
Let me bring our people here. Has anyone heard anything from Bobby Kennedy? Anyone?
He's too busy hanging out with Oprah.
Right, he's busy hanging out with Oprah. Let me bring everyone. Karina, have you heard anything from Bobby Kennedy? You can come on. Nope. Marie, anyone? Beth? Nobody. Okay? No one's heard anything from this fellow. What he has is he has his very, very stupid narcissistic moms out there who basically want to, have a picture with him. That's their big goal in life. Pushing out this thing, I'm a vaccine maker. Unbelievable. And by the way, we have pictures of all these people because my lawyers are looking at it. I do like to sue people who lie, and I've won. And I will sue people to protect my reputation. And so we have all you guys who keep saying you're a vaccine maker, because when I hit you with your lawsuit and there's a lien on your house, it's not going to be a joke anymore. Okay? So keep saying that if that's what you believe. Or correct it and send me an apology so we make it easier on anyone. That's where this is headed to. And the board of my company is quite upset too. We're not a vaccine maker. We create mathematical models. And we'll talk about that. The second thing, again, let me go back to this because this is a very powerful symbol here. This is a very powerful symbol right there. Make the lie big, make the lie simple, keep saying it. And that's brought to you by Bobby Kennedy. That's what he believes because that's what he's practicing, saying that I'm a vaccine maker. And then the second thing he said is I have a partnership with Bill Gates. Again, that's a false statement, defamatory, slanderous, and libel, whether you speak it or say it. And the third thing he has said is that I get money from the Clintons. And Jake, is an investigator. We're going to go through this. Jake just released an amazing, and I haven't even retweeted it. Everyone should retweet it. Jake, I didn't have time to do it yet. But let me go right to Jake's article here. Jake, I think you have it on your website, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me go to your page here. Let's see right here. I think I had it here. 1 second. I think I had it all teed up. So we're going to go over to Jake's site, and it's a great site where Jake has literally written a great article which really exposes all this. Jake, do you remember the articles? Here it is. I'm right here. I'm sorry. Here it is. Here we go. Jake, I have your article up, and everyone can see it. This is the article that's basically hot off the press. It says it's on Autism Investigated. Everyone should go to the site, autisminvestigated.com. A great site, great articles. And it says Robert F. Kennedy Jr. unleashes smear campaign to support nephew Joe Kennedy's U.S. Senate run against Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. That's what's going on. He's unleashed a smear campaign. And look at what we have here. We have Bobby over here with Joey over here with all of his little Hollywood celebrities. And he's raising money for Joe Kennedy, who is pro-vaccine mandates. And Joe Kennedy's wife runs that's what these rich people do. They run little nonprofits, act like they're helping the dark people. Running a little nonprofit, that's what they do, right? It's always what they do, We're going to help some people in Africa. Meanwhile, they don't treat their people at home any nice. So he's got a little nonprofit his wife is running, which basically is to help poor black kids. We're going to do wellness for them, and we're going to vaccinate you. Did you know that, Jake? I think you saw that. Yeah. So this is how they do it. They always something nice, quote unquote nice, but it's all about basically supporting Big Pharma. But what you see in this picture here is you see Bobby over here who, you know, they had this fake thing where he attacked him. This is how the Kennedys work. But he held a fundraiser for him to raise money for his Senate campaign against me. Running fundraisers and then running. So I have your whole article. We can go through it, Jake. I can. Maybe you want to read it, Jake, or I'll read the first part. But Jake just went through every point of this. Everyone's told me I should be nice and not curse, so I'm trying to hold my tongue. Okay, I'm trying to be nice, but I'm trying to do better. Okay, but it's hard. But it says, I think your article says, Robert F. Jr. Kennedy has a problem with Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, which is hardly surprising. Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai is running for U.S. Senate against RFK Jr.'s nephew, sitting Congressman Joe Kennedy. While Dr. Ayyadurai has routinely criticized vaccines, Congressman Kennedy has routinely defended them. The following are the inconvenient facts Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ignores in his attacks on Dr. Ayyadurai. You want to go through each one? Jake, I have them right here so people can see them. Go ahead.
The first one about you being a vaccine developer, like I said earlier in this call, that was certainly news to me. Dr. Shiva, the vaccine developer. It's amazing that he.
Well, what they did, Jake, was they found some sentence on our website, because our technology can be used for anything, for understanding molecular mechanisms of vaccines, for nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, anything. I create I create a software. It's like I create Excel, right? I create Lotus 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a software product. So I hope the sheep out there understand this, and I hope our very enlightened people who are for truth, freedom, and health can hammer the sheep and help them understand that Cytosolve is a mathematical software where we model molecular reactions, and that software, anyone can use, and it can actually help understand efficacy and toxicity, and how people use it is up to them. And I think, Jake, and we had a company called Pfizer, their innovation group, which got created by some very interesting rebellious people within the big Pfizer organization, who basically said, you know what, pharma sucks. So they asked us, hey, do you have any mathematical models for understanding autoimmune stuff? And we said we did. And they engaged us, and then they later reneged because the two people who were in that organization left because they realized that Pfizer was just so backward. So but we love putting their logo up because it's a prestigious thing for us, because we were brought in by one of the biggest pharma companies in the world, which validates my software, that they even thought it was good. And I'm sure Bobby Kennedy knows that Harvard is a $50 billion hedge fund, but he puts it on his resume that he went to Harvard, doesn't he? So that's what this is. The next one, Jake, go ahead. In contrast to Kennedy's claim, you can read them, Jake. People are listening.
Yeah, that you worked for Bill Clinton because you won a contest sponsored by the Executive Office of the White House when Clinton was president. I mean, that was just it's crazy how he strung such a tenuous tie together like that. I mean, you never took money from the Clintons, and you would never take money from the Clintons.
No, if anything, they've gotten my money probably through all other different ways we don't even know. I think people said we should let some of our guests talk. Karina, do you have anything to say on? I think Karina, you're pretty articulate. What do you think about this, Karina? Those 2 points. Karina, people can hear you.
I mean, listen, I've been replying to a lot of people on like Twitter and social media platforms, who have doubts. Bobby said that about Shiva. What if it's true? And when I give them the true facts, some of them will say, well, you're volunteering for Shiva, therefore you cannot be trusted. And I think they're missing the point that the reason why I'm volunteering for Shiva is because I was so concerned about the vaccine situation, right? And I looked at the vaccine freedom movement in Massachusetts. I saw so much infighting, so much nonsense, so much hurting and manipulation, that I saw Shiva as the only plausible solution to actually creating a real movement, because everything else I saw, including the health choice activities, which, they invite you to some secret group and then they kick you out, and in the middle of the night, so to speak, right, without giving you any reason. And there's all these disheartened people who, unlike me, I don't have children yet. I want to, right, and I'm very concerned. However, there are people with more immediate issues, right, whose children may not be able to go to school, for example. And all these people are so heartbroken and so burnt out by years of being manipulated, misled, not really giving any real solutions, and basically burning out, talking to legislators, which is not leading anywhere. So the reason why I even became at all interested in Shiva is because he held a conference, vaccine risk assessment conference, in October. That's where I met him, right? And I met a lot of other people who had been in the movement for a while, who were so excited because all of a sudden they saw a completely different angle, which was just a holistic solution to this whole thing, right? Like you said, just repeal the whole damn program. That's the only real solution to the medical freedom. There is no solution like, oh, let's fight with this exemption or that exemption, or maybe they'll give us a little bit of, like an inch here and an inch there. It's not going to work, right? This year they might give you an inch, and then next year some other bill was going to get drafted, that's going to be more draconian because the pharma is not sleeping. That's all they do, right? They ghostwrite those bills, they push them through the legislators, and the legislators are happy to, to oblige because, they want to fundraise and get reelected and all that good stuff, right? So the only holistic solution I see is what she was talking about. You like him, I mean, you hear his message, great. If you're not quite understanding where he's coming from, please go back to his videos, see, his whole philosophy, because it's a lot of information. I'm barely catching up, or catching sort of, catching on to everything he's saying. But I truly, I think it's very important that people understand that this medical movement thing has been going on for over a decade, actually more like close to like 15 plus years, right? And what have we accomplished legislatively? California completely, lost. New York, pretty much. I mean, people are becoming so desperate, and it's just sad that I think that anybody in their right mind should be following your campaign and basically just spreading it outside in Massachusetts. It's also outside of Massachusetts. It should be like a wild fire spreading across the whole country. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk that much, but I just wanted to get kind of my feelings.
Yeah, I think it was very good.
Couldn't have said it better.
What I heard today was there's a moron called Gary Null who I used to have respect for. He's paid off by the Kennedys, and he's been saying I'm a pharma guy. I mean, this is absurd. So this they're desperate.
They have to lie.
Yeah, so that's what they have to do. They have to lie. I have Beth here also, but Jake, we're going to go through each one of these points because everyone listening, someone just said, "Oh, he's going to go back to business." I think anyone out there who thinks that I own a vaccine company, you're welcome here. By the way, anyone who thinks I own a vaccine company can call me right now on 617-631-6874. So anyone out there, this is my personal phone number. Call me right now at 617-631-6874. For those of you who want to think I own a vaccine company, please call. We have working people in Massachusetts, people who know my building. You can ask them how many needles, how many syringes they've seen there, what manufacturing facilities you've seen here. Michelle's here. She's been with me for 4 years. So please call. All the trolls come out. All of Robbie Kennedy's butt asses come out. Whatever his friends come out. I think that's a guy's name who looks quite disgusting. Please come out. Who said I had a head injury. So come out. I'm waiting. 617-631-6874. Please, we'll wait. Jake is here. I'm here. Richard's here. Richard comes to my office. We'll bring Dr. Dinoker in. Anyone, please call 617-631-6874. Anyone who believes Bobby Kennedy's bullshit that I have a vaccine company, the big lie, everyone should go to that wonderful drawing of him in that Nazi outfit. Where it's saying that I own a vaccine company. Oh, here we go. Alan.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
Alan, is that you? Alan, do you think I own a vaccine company?
Yes, Shiva. What about the 5G, Shiva? You own a vaccine company. That's what I heard from Robbie. It's all true. Robbie's a great person. I love Robbie. He's so cool. He's drunk all the time.
All right, that was one of the guys. Oh, here's someone else calling. Hold on. Okay, who's this calling from a no-caller ID? Do you believe I own a vaccine company?
No, I love you, Dr. Shiva. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. What's your name and where are you from? You don't have to say your full name.
Pennsylvania, Rob.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Good to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Be well. Be the light. Okay, we're waiting for all the trolls. They were. Okay, here's one. Hello. Do you believe I own a vaccine company?
I don't, Mr. Shiva. I believe that you are the truth, freedom, and health. And me and my wife are all the way behind you, man. We're out of Texas, and we love you. We're glad. We love your research, your beautiful, beautiful research, and everything that you said. We believe that, and believe me, I know vaccinations can go to hell. Robert F. Kennedy can go to hell. Dr. Batar, he can go to hell. You keep marching, and we're here for you, man. We love you. Thank you for your research, Dr. Shiva. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Be well. By the way, these are... Oops, thank you. So anyone else, please, 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 I would love to find out where these vaccines are and make. If I'm a vaccine maker, Cytosol will be shutting down tomorrow. We will file our corporate papers, end of it. Okay, here we go. Hello, do you believe I run a vaccine company?
No, I do not.
Okay, what's your name? Where are you from? You could say, everyone's listening.
Mark,
Yeah.
I'm in Boca Raton, Florida.
Oh, great. What's your name?
Mark.
Hey, Mark, good to hear from you. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I have a quick question I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
What is the safe level of megatesla for the outside? I was told it was around 100. Does that sound right?
It may be. These. So you're talking about magnetics, right? Oops.
Yes, magnetic.
Hold on one second. Someone else is calling. Hold on one second. Yeah, look. There's a whole field called geomancy, right? Which is the Earth's magnetic field, which has a separate grid. Hold on, someone else is. Let me. Can you call back? Okay, I'll call you right back. Hold on. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. Do you believe I own a vaccine company?
I do not believe you own a vaccine company, Dr. Shiva. Come on, I wasn't born yesterday. I mean, we got hardcore globalists out there that are trying to annihilate humanity. We got a good man like yourself. We can see through the truth, man. These are just paid trolls that are doing this.
Yep. Thank you very much. I think there's someone else calling. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. Do you believe I own a vaccine company?
Oh my God, no, I love you, Dr. Shiva. I am Carolyn, and I am calling from communist California. And we are, oh my God, it's scary out here. And we are, seriously, what's his name? Bill Gates just bought a $43,000 home here in Del Mar, and it is crazy out here. We're really scared, and we don't know what to do. And we're just, I actually painted my whole van with your information, and I've been driving around. I just sit places where there are lines of people waiting to go in stores, and we have mandatory masks as of today, and so I made a mask with a sign on it with your information, so that's what I present when I go to the store. I just have a big sign with follow Dr. Shiva.
Great, thank you for having it. Thank you. Let me take another call. Thank you so much. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. Do you believe I own a vaccine company? Hello?
No, I absolutely don't.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me take another call. Thank you so much.
Are you still there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, amazing. Oh my God, I'm a huge fan of yours. I mean, I'm on like every time you're on. All I do is fight for you. I love you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. We're calling from San Diego, California. Or
Yep.
should I call it Communist
Well, let's
California?
unleash the movement for truth, freedom, and health everywhere. That's what this is about.
Absolutely. I wish you were running here. Oh my God, I totally support you.
Well, everyone should just replicate what we're doing. This is about dividing, dividing and multiplying. Thank you. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. Do you believe I own a vaccine company? No? Okay, yeah, you can just let the audience know.
Well, everyone should just replicate what we're doing. This is about dividing.
Yes. Hold on one second. I think we have some feedback here. Hold on one second. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva.
Laura is calling from British Columbia, Canada. I'm following you for months. I'm looking for you for years. Please keep up the good work and let me know how to help. My book is coming out. You are mentioned in it. We are totally on the same page.
Okay, great. Thank you. Be well. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. Who's this? Yes, Blue. Hold on. I'm going to merge you in so there's a couple other people here. Hi, we have two people. Go ahead, Blue. Do you think I own a vaccine company?
Oh, I know for that you do.
What's that? Hold on. There's two people calling. Hold on one second. I have to get. Hold on. Yes. Hi. Do you believe that I own a? No. The question is, do you believe that I own a vaccine company? Well, the phone's ringing off the hook. I can't keep up with the messages.
I know for a fact you own a vaccine.
You know the fact that I own a vaccine company? Yeah. Hold on a second. I accidentally hit the streaming. Are we back up? Hold on one second. Are we back up? 1 second, everyone. Yeah, I think I'm back up. Richard, I'm back on?
I'm checking.
Okay. 1 second, everyone. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you? Hello? Yes, this is Dr. Shiva. Do you think I own a vaccine company?
No, we don't. But my wife is here and she's been watching you.
Yeah, just speak a little bit louder.
Yes, my wife is here. I'm calling her on behalf. She's excited to talk, but here is Dahlia.
We're calling from Canada and we watch you every single day. You are the truth and we love you and keep doing what you're doing and don't worry about anything else.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you. God bless you. Be well. Thank you. Thank you. Be well. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. I can see myself
It's
all.
just Karina on the screen, she's saying.
Yes, but it should switch now. Is it back, Karina? Karina, do you see me now? Okay. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you? Good. I have you live. Do you think I own a vaccine company?
Nah, man. I don't think you own no vaccine company, bro. But I've been watching you for a little minute.
Can you guys
now.
mute yourself?
I've been watching you for a minute now. I don't think it's cool that you exposing the truth and everything that's going on, man. It's corrupt, man, within the government and just everything that's going on with the war right now. But it's good that you're doing a good thing, man. It's just keep your eyes, just stay focused, man.
All right. Yep. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I really appreciate your calling. Be well. Thank you. Venu, hold on. Hold on, Venu. We're starting our next guest. So anyway, I'm getting tons of calls in. I don't think anyone thinks I own a vaccine company unless you're working for Bobby Kennedy and you're on his payroll. Okay? By the way, let all the trolls call. I haven't had one troll call. Richard, I need you to plug this in, please, because I ran out on yeah, I ran that one. No, this one. Hold on one second. This. Can you connect this up? You're gonna have to. You know how to do this. So as we're waiting for this to start, we're getting calls from everyone here.
Hello? We're trying to get that plugged in.
Yeah, who's that? Instagram?
Yeah,
yeah. So anyway, we'll be anyway. We have more phone calls coming in. We're gonna wait for Instagram to start. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you?
Good, you?
Oh, good. Do you think I own a vaccine company?
Definitely not. Keep up the good fight. You're doing an awesome job. We're listening to you from Canada, and we got problems up here too with the deep state. They're infiltrating into us, so yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. We love you.
Thank you. We love you too. Be well. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, good. Do you think I own a vaccine company?
No, I'm calling from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh, awesome.
I cannot believe you have a vaccine company.
Yeah, I'd like to find out where it is.
I know, really, me too.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Biwa. I'm glad you called. We'll take one more call. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. You're from Dallas, Texas. Do you think I own a vaccine company?
Yes, Dr. Shiva, we are with you in Texas. We really do appreciate you. I'm a mother of 4. I don't vaccinate any of my children, and I would hate for them to pass this mandatory vaccine. So please fight for us, and like I said, we're standing with you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're not going to get that from Joe Kennedy. Joe Kennedy it wants vaccine mandates, and so does Bobby Kennedy. He just talks a good game, but so nice hearing from you. Be well. Be the light. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye. So is there another video playing on Facebook? Is Facebook okay? Is everything okay on Facebook, Jen? Can someone tell me?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay. Everything okay? Yeah. Okay. Let me take. So everyone listening out there, I'm gonna. If you can stop the calls, we'll open up calls again. I'm gonna take this last call. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Dr. Shiva. This is Valerie from Cambridge, Massachusetts calling.
Oh, hey Valerie, how are you? Do you think I make vaccines?
Good. How are you? No, I don't. I know for a fact you do not make vaccines. And not only that, but I also know that one of the deep state's most favorite weapons is deception and counterintelligence. So the deep state specializes in that. So if they're saying something, it's pretty much obvious that the opposite is true.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for people to understand, I think the big thing, look, we're not here to bring the sheep away who want to go to the slaughterhouse. Is that in this case, it's not the obvious establishment, it's the not so obvious, deeper establishment of the Kennedys, because people have been bamboozled to think, and every year the Kennedys at least do 2 or 3 movies, have more pictures released. They're all about brand building, and that's, I think, if people can break from the Kennedys in this country, we will have an overnight revolution, because they're the ones used to manipulate people as though they're caring for our civil rights and stuff.
Let's get the Instagram
Yeah.
back up too.
Yeah, so I'm going to get, hold on one second. I got to get Instagram back up. 1 second. 1 second. Hold it right there. By the way, you notice that unlike the Kennedys, this is a one-man operation here. It's like everything is brought to you by, when we say Shiva for Senate, it is Shiva for Senate with all of our volunteers here. We don't. When you donate, by the way, when you donate to my campaign, okay, Richard, you want to do this right here? Do it just hold it up there, okay?
Hold it.
Yeah, until it gets juiced up. Yeah, no, point it down a little bit, Richard, right there. If you can hold it there. Or you can put it down, Richard, like right there, because you see, and you can just hold it there so you don't have to, okay? So anyone, by the way, if you donate to our campaign, you give us $1, I'll be stretching that to like $1,000, okay? So, we raised about $500,000, but that $500,000, when the Kennedys will spend that in one day at some drunken event. That's what they'll do, or do open bar. For us, that $500,000 will go, it's like $50 million. So if we raise $2 million, it's like having a war chest of $200 million. Let me see who else is calling. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you? Do you think I create vaccines? I'm a vaccine maker.
No, sir, I do not. And I actually do hope that every vaccine maker uses your program, your software, to check out if actually their vaccine is going to work in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. You're a very smart man. To those people, to every vaccine manufacturer out there, here's a deal I have. And this is going to be quite a profound deal. You bring me your vaccines and I will do it for free. I'm not going to charge you anything. Not one penny. So on behalf of humanity, so there you go, Bobby, you little booby. And Joey and Jokey, or whatever the hell you want to call yourselves, anyone who wants to bring a vaccine, I will do it for absolutely no cost. 0 cost. Pfizer, Sanofi, go down the list. Who else do we have? And anyone. And Bobby, if you want, they want to give me money, you can have it for your freaking foundation. Okay? I don't want any money. So any vaccine manufacturer out there, anyone, you bring me your vaccines and I will run it through Cytosolve at 0 cost. That's how much money I make. 0. 0, 0, 0. Thank you. Great idea. Be the light. Thank you. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. Do you think I make vaccines? Hello? Lost him. Yes, hi, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you? Do you think I make vaccines?
No, I do not think you make vaccines.
I was actually calling. I was going to bug you and say, "This is Robert Kennedy calling. You need to be quiet."
Where are you from, ma'am? What part of Georgia?
My name's Judy, and I'm from South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Awesome. That's great.
Thank you for doing what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Okay, great. Thank you for calling. Very lovely. Be well. God bless you. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm great. Do you think I make vaccines?
Honestly, I do not think you make vaccines, and I just want to say thank you for fighting for us, and being the light, and truth, freedom, and health.
Awesome. Very, very sweet of you. Be well.
Wait, I have a question though. Hello?
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure. So are you pretty much anti-vaccine?
Well, this is my position on this. I believe that everyone should be able to make their... I don't think the government should be mandating any of this. I think when it comes to health, it's between you and your God and your healthcare practitioner, whoever you want to choose. If someone wants to go put 1,000 vaccines in themselves, or let them do that, but I don't want to do that. I don't think the government should be telling me to do that. That's what this is about. But John Kennedy thought the government should be. Ted Kennedy thought, and so does Bobby Kennedy. They think the government should be involved.
Oh, you know what? Forget them. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling. God bless you. Bye-bye. All right. So, everyone, I think we're back. So, Jake, are you still there? Jake?
Of course.
Sorry, Jake. Anyway, we took calls. So, let's go back to Jake's beautiful article here. So, the first item was, do I make vaccines? Okay. And by the way, let's go to this. Jake, number 2 was, Mr. Kennedy asserted that I got money from the Clintons. What actually took place, Jake? What actually took place?
News to me too.
Yeah, so what actually took place? Let's tell people what actually happened with the Clintons.
Well, you would explain it better than anybody, including me. But what did happen was that Dr. Iadore, you won an email classification contest, and that was co-sponsored by the National Institute of Standards and the Executive Office of the White House when Clinton happened to be president. I mean, it's such a tenuous connection. It's an incredibly
it's no
tenuous
connection. Yeah.
I mean, it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It happened to be sponsored by the White House when he was president. It's really quite incredible. And it's something that that tenuously connected you to the White House 28 years ago matters. How come it doesn't matter that Robert Kennedy endorsed Hillary Clinton 3 times, including just 4 years ago? If he had his way, she would be president right now, which goes into point 3. Kennedy endorsed her 3 times, and she was strongly pro-vaccine, and throughout her 2016 candidacy, you opposed her candidacy, and meanwhile, he says that you don't. Going into point 4, he says that you're in partnership with Microsoft and never criticized Bill Gates. I mean, I read your Twitter page all the time. You criticize Bill Gates all the time. You criticize Bill Gates way more than Bobby Kennedy criticizes Bill Gates.
Well, I've been criticizing Bill Gates since probably 1982 when I realized what a crappy operating system he'd built. Okay? And you remember South Park, that movie? That was pretty good what happened there. But anyway, the point is that I've been critiquing the guy technology-wise.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. 1 second, Jake. We have a couple of calls here. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva. How are you? Do you think I make vaccines? Where are you from?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, great. Great to have you.
This is my special needs kid talking to you. He's unvaccinated, and he don't believe in vaccines either. And he's saying you're great.
Oh, thank you. What's his name?
Keegan.
What's his name?
That you don't
push vaccines.
Push vaccines.
Okay, definitely. Thank you so much. Very sweet of you. Nice to hear from you.
You want to tell him thank you? You're standing up for our rights, huh?
So I do have another question for you, though. When you have some time,
Sure. Yes, call me on that number. You can send me, by the way, you can also send me an email to vashiva@vashiva.com. vashiva@vashiva.com. Everyone listening, thank you so much. Thank you. Be well. Have a good night. If everyone listening, just know that it's not I want to be rude, but I have a bunch of calls coming in and I want to finish up with Jake. If people can call me back in a little while and I'll take your call. So I'm going to just decline for now for a few minutes, okay? And I'll come back. So anyway, Jake, the other thing was I think he said that and I think the recent thing, the tax records that just came out show that the Gates Foundation gave the Clinton Global Initiative up until 2018 about $170 million. So Gates gave the Clinton Global Initiative $170 million. So here is Bobby Kennedy attacking Gates, which I was doing deeper and much harder. And now, but he doesn't say anything about Hillary Clinton. By the way, if everyone goes to this website, rfkexposed.com, rfkexposed.com, it's a great site put together by our amazing volunteers. And if you go to that site, you can actually see everything laid out about this, frankly, a guy who is practicing techniques from Hitler, the big lies. But you can go through everything we put together about his thing. But it lays out very clearly there how much money that Hillary Clinton got. She got the most amount of donations, Jake, if you remember, from Big Pharma. Trump got, frankly, nothing. I think Trump got like $2,000. Hillary got 170 times that, okay? 170 times that. And then it's right up on this website. Let me bring it right here. You can see the graph right here, how much she got from Big Pharma and the fact that she's supported vaccines right here. It's all right here. People should just go to rfkexposed.com. Please take those graphics, put them out there. And by the way, any of the sheeple out there who believe that he did not support Hillary Clinton multiple times, it's all right here, beautifully laid out. And by the way, here is 3 endorsements in 2000, 2007 and 8, and then 2006. It's all laid out. But getting back to what Jake has put together, Jake, I also have the fact that Joe Kennedy, it's that tweet you sent me, vaccination save lives, big pro-vaccine guy, and then there's a picture of him back. I'm going to go back to Jake's article right here. Jake, I'm on point number 4. He said that I am in partnership with Bill Gates. Jake, are you there?
Yeah. You're definitely not in partnership with Bill Gates. You use his products. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I have Windows, and you receive some business discounts. So that's definitely not accurate.
And it's probably worth maybe $5,000 over the last 20 years. We got $5,000 in discounts. Microsoft discounts.
Well, there you go.
If he wants me to give it to his foundation to prove that, if he wants to beg like that, because that's what he does. He's a beggar. He begs everyone for money all day. That's what he does. Here are the Kennedys who have billions probably in trust fund. Can you believe the Kennedys start foundations and beg us for money? What are these people about? Do they think we're all stupid? And then the last one here is number 5. The bottom line is... Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, you propose to, like we said, you want to end the law that created the 1962 law that created the vaccine program in the first place, the 1986 law that indemnifies vaccine manufacturers. The Kennedys, his uncles had a role in creating those programs, and now his nephew, Joe Kennedy, who you're running against, wants to just keep it going. I mean, it's a completely untenable position for Bobby Kennedy. So for him to then say that your controlled opposition is it's just ludicrous. And people can find the bill on your website, ShivaForSenate.com. It lays it all out.
Yeah, people go to ShivaForSenate.com. And by the way, please go there and take advantage of the fact that we have an awesome book. And by the way, one of the things I want to say is, because we're not money-grubbing Kennedys, okay? Because that's what they are. They're money grubbers. Bobby Kennedy wants you to pay him $30,000, $40,000 to fly him out somewhere. But that's what he does. But if you go to this website, for $25 you get the book and you get access to the software. And if you can't afford $25, give whatever you can. And if you can't even afford that, write to me, vashiva@vashiva.com, and I'll give you a full scholarship for it. Obviously it's the honor system, but take advantage of that. But everyone should go to shivaforsenate.com. And those of you who are outside of the country and you want access to the software and the book, just go right to Your Body, Your System. And if you go to Get Started Now, it's the same tool. You get the same thing, but it's for people outside, because only people inside of the United States can donate to the campaign. But if you're outside, do that. And again, we know this hard economic times. If you can't afford it, we have a little scholarship thing right here, and you can choose a scholarship and you get it. But there you go. This is not about begging. We don't want to be beggars. That's what lawyers and lobbyists and the Kennedys are. They're beggars. They beg, and then they manipulate, and then they lie. Beggars and liars. That's what they are. Sorry about that, but that's what they are. So, Jake, if we go back here, I think the last point is, I think this is really important to explain. Autism Investigator is a longtime witness of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vaccine compromises. He chopped the entire section on autism out of his 2014 book that he ironically named Thimerosal, Let the Science Speak. These people are such hypocrites. They're like the ultimate of bullshitters. Bullshitters Maximus. Despite his call for unity, Kennedy refuses any partnership with others who will expose his hypocrisy. That's why he never wanted to work with me. I told him I had all the data. I have the Science Foundation. He said, hey, I'll call you back, and he never did. For example, Kennedy refused to collaborate with Autism Investigator, which is Jake Crosby here. Again, we have Jake Crosby here as an amazing investigator, one of the smartest people I know who's really looked at this. And to his own admission, which Bobby Kennedy wrote to you, right, Jake? He says, I recognize the important value of your brand of uncompromising, take no prisoners, which means he tells the truth. He goes, but it's not a good fit for our tactical approach. Let's just read that again. This is Bobby Kennedy's own words, because Jake was pounding away at the truth. Let me bring that over here. And this is what he says. I recognize the important value of your, which means Jake's, brand of uncompromising, take no prisoners, which means he tells the truth. Truth, freedom, and health, advocacy. But it's not good fit for our tactical approach, which is to go kiss ass to Oprah right now to create some bogus unity movement. That's what he's doing right now.
No.
This is, look at how beautifully it's worded. So you think, but it's not a good fit our tactical approach. Means that we want to bullshit. That's what that means. Let me rephrase this. It means I recognize Jake tells the truth, but it's not a good fit for me because I'm a bullshitter. That's what it means.
Pretty much.
That's what it means. But it's written in such amazing words that the sheeple will think, oh, Bobby is going to do tactical stuff for us. This basically says don't tell the truth. Because and Jake says his tactical approach is now focused on fundraising for his nephew's U.S. Senate. And that's what the tactical approach is. This is incredible. Candidates against Dr. Ioduri, Massachusetts, proving Robert F. Kennedy Jr. puts bloodlines over principles. He is also heavily influenced by Mark Blaxell of Health Choice, who has repeatedly thwarted congressional advocacy of vaccine injury activists, calling tobacco signs defending thimerosal robust and taking credit for other people's works. Compare who Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is supporting for U.S. Senator Dr. Ioduri's own Senate platform, and the choice couldn't be clear. RFK Jr.'s nephew wants to keep the federal vaccine promotion and indemnity laws that RFK Jr.'s uncles ratified or co-sponsored. Dr. Ioduri has proposed a bill specifically to have those laws repealed, vaccine indemnity lifted, and the vaccine program eliminated. It's clear to anyone that what this smear campaign is all about. Well, Jake, I think we're going to end it there on that note. But to everyone out there, everyone should go to our campaign. I can just tell you, you just heard random people. I mean, my phone number is out there. I get probably about 200 calls on this call. This is a real campaign. You know, people want to come to my house. Michelle probably won't let me do it, but I'll give you my house address. Where I grew up, you know, your home was actually open. You know, the Mongolians did something very cool. I don't know if you know about this. By the way, I'm related to them. The Yakuts. I actually have more American Indian genes than Elizabeth Warren does. Another story. But the Yakuts, the Mongolians, they were nomads and they had their tents. And if someone came into their home and they ate all their food, they were actually quite elated. They were happy to give away stuff. That's where I grew up, in these villages. You walk 2 in the morning barefoot, everyone was cool. And that's the way life should be. We don't live behind walls and in Hyannisport, okay? That's what they live. They live in a place called Hyannisport in their own compound, and they get plastered and people die. That's what happens in a Hyannisport, okay? But in closing, what I want to let people know is I've tried to be good. I try not to curse that much. I know some people don't like me doing that. It's difficult when you talk about these evil, evil, evil people. I just, it just bugs me so much. But I haven't gotten one call from any of the trolls. And let's go over here. Did you? Let's go back to our people here. Hey, did you, Karina? Did you get any calls? Karina? Anyone?
Luckily, I don't put out my number.
Okay. Anyone? Beth? Okay. Anyone else? So basically, we haven't heard. Catherine Vitale, did you get any calls? Catherine? We got you?
No.
Okay, no, nothing from Catherine. Okay, Jackie Scott? Anyone else?
Nope, nothing here.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, if we're going to keep going here, but anyway, this was a great call. Jake, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Look, Jake has been
my pleasure, Shiva. Thank
Jake
you.
has been hit so hard. I mean, he's a pioneer. He was a guy who came out and told the truth. And you can see what Bobby Kennedy told him. It's not a good fit. The truth is not a good fit.
Yeah.
That's what he's basically saying. The truth is not a good fit, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. The truth is not a good fit. And he calls it uncompromising, take no prisoners. All it means is the truth is not a good fit. But our movement that we've unleashed...
But lies are.
What's that?
But lies are a good
But
fit.
lies are a good fit.
For him.
Big lies are a good fit. Saying Dr. Shiva is a vaccine manufacturer, that Dr. Shiva has partnerships with Bill Gates. Natalie Bloomer said, I'd love to volunteer. So listen, anyone who wants to volunteer is welcome. And you can share that content. Go to rfkexposed.com and go hit these trolls tonight. Go to rfkexposed.com, take all that content, we beautifully laid it out, and go to war. Because we have started a war against the establishment. And that's what we need. And Massachusetts is a center of the deep state establishment. It's a center because this is the Kennedys. They think they own this. And we, the working people, come on up here, Richard. Come on up, you guys. We have Tony, Richard. Come on up here, Richard. We have people right here. Richard DeLuca right here. Richard was out in the rain and the snow. 77-year-old man. Richard, look. He collected signatures for us, okay? Robbie Kennedy paid people for signatures. That's what the Kennedys do. They lie and they cheat. None of these politicians even play by the rules. He was out in the rain and the snow, a 77-year-old man collecting signatures in the middle of COVID, coronavirus, bullshit. Biggest fear-mongering hoax. Come on over here, Tony. Tony was out there helping us. Tony, what do you do?
I'm a chiropractor.
Yeah, Tony's a chiropractor. You want to look right over here, Tony?
Okay.
Yeah, Tony Gambrelli, right?
Tony Gambrelli.
Yeah, Tony said put a huge sign. Tony gets what it is. The practitioners like him who actually, feel people, touch people. Those are the frontline healthcare people. That's who should be determining in association with us what healthcare is. Not some freaking top down, not Bobby Kennedy sitting up there and, trying to figure something. Bullshit. It should be people like him and you. That's healthcare. And that's decentralized. Whether you and someone decide you want to get 1,000 vaccines, go for it. But no one should be imposing that on us. That's what this is about. This is about truth, freedom, and health. 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 That's a great thing. All right. All right, everyone. We'll be back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll have a medical doctor joining us from Texas, from the great old state of Texas, and we'll be talking about science. We're going to talk about remdesivir. We're going to talk about hydroxychloroquine, and we're going to talk about vitamin D and C. And we're going to talk about Cytosolve, the vaccine company. We're going to talk about Cytosolve, okay, the vaccine maker, okay? Bobby, come on. Bobby, I don't hear you calling me. Where are you? Is he ever going to call? Jake, Jake, do you have his number?
He's in some green room with Bill Clinton.
I'll let him.
Tell him that Shiva's waiting for his call. Text him. I should text him. Just say Shiva wants you to call him, and he's trying to find the vaccines, but he may be able to find the needles from all the heroin that he did. Okay? All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. This is Dr. Shiva Idure, and if everyone can find Robbie Kennedy, find out where these vaccines are. Where are they? I'd love to know where the partnership is, and I'd like to find the money, all the money that Hillary Clinton gave me. Okay? We'll be back. Thank you, everyone. Be the light.